What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red River Aviation. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. And today we have another trip announcement. This isn't necessarily a trip, but it's more of a kind of a way to end the era type flight that we have here to announce today. But before we get started, if you are excited for today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. There is a lot coming to the channel soon, including multiple more trip reports. We'll have 6 after this trip. There is a handful of other trips on the channel, such as American Airlines to Albuquerque, American Airlines to Washington, D.C., and Delta Airlines to Rochester, Minnesota. So if you want to check out those trip reports, you can go check those out in the playlist tab, where you can scroll to find them. And you can also check out Gemini Jet's airport updates and massive unboxings and other types of videos here on my channel too. So to begin with, I will be flying the last revenue American Airlines McDonnell MD-80 flight into Tulsa, Oklahoma from Dallas-Fort Worth. This will be my last MD-80 flight, and once again, the last revenue passenger service flight into Tulsa, and probably the last ever MD-80 into Tulsa in general for American Airlines, which is incredible to think that it's already here. I do want to say I'm sorry for postponing this video till last moment. Simply having school is tough and just never got to, had a couple of things not go my way. Tulsa update ended up coming out on Saturday, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and a storyline airport update that's coming out today as well. So if you are watching this, probably the day that comes out, which will be the day I'm recording this, the flight is tomorrow, the 2 flights. So in order to get to Dallas, I can take the last revenue American Airlines McDonnell MD-80 flight to Tulsa, which is my home airport. I'm going to have to get to Dallas, which I'll explain how I'm doing that right now. So I'll be taking an American Airlines Airbus A319 with sharklets. As of right now, it could change to a LUS, but I highly doubt it. From Tulsa, Oklahoma to Dallas-Fort Worth on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019, departing Tulsa at 6:17 p.m., also known as 1817, and arriving at Dallas-Fort Worth at 7:34 p.m. or 1934. Now, it already has my gates and stuff, so it says I'm leaving at A9, which is the gate I came into last time in the A319. I left from A10 last time I flew American, which was a month and a half ago, and we'll be arriving in Dallas-Fort Worth. It says C19 right now, and then seat 22F as of right now. I did want to get 9F, but unfortunately I couldn't do that. 8Fs are available, however, I wouldn't have anywhere to store my camera bag and anything like that. So I could go 11F, but that's way too close to the engine. So I think I'm satisfied to stay with 22F. Not much more to say about this flight besides it's pretty open right now, so there's a good chance I'll have a whole aisle to myself, which is pretty awesome. Definitely excited to get back on the baby bus. Flew it a month and a half ago, and it was definitely nice. Unfortunately, not a longer flight, but still better than a 737 per se, unless the 737 was a special, which is pretty unheard of to get a special on 737. It's not very common. And then, yeah, I said my arrival gate was C19, and that could change very quickly. This is tomorrow, so I'll explain more, but I'm going to announce the final flight real quick. So American Airlines flight 267, which is normally operated on Boeing 737. However, this is a McDonnell MD-80 flight, departing Dallas-Fort Worth at 10:26 or 22:26. From gate C4, which I have no clue if that's a good thumbnail gate, because I'm really going to need a thumbnail gate, and arriving at Tulsa at 11:29 or 23:29 at gate A9 is what it says, and that could change. That's likely to change. I don't know how they park at Tulsa, but they will have to bring in another aircraft to fly the morning flight back, so I have no clue how that's going to work. But the incoming flights from Cincinnati, and I'll give you guys my tail numbers as of right now. These likely could change, but I'll give you what we got. There's a chance that the MD-80 is not going to change. The MD-80 is MD-80, of course, but it's not just the favorite MD-80 tail number. But anyways, my registration for Tulsa, Dallas is actually changed. November 90 25 Bravo, which is an A319. I flew, oh man, crap. Want to say it was 907T maybe. I'll look real quick on what MD-80 I flew from Tulsa to, or Dallas to Tulsa. It should be fairly soon. Here it is. I flew 8009T. So yeah, cool registration there. Baby buses. There's 32 of them in the fleet that are AALs. And then for AA267 from Tulsa to Dallas Fort Worth, or from Dallas Fort Worth Tulsa. Sorry, I'm getting so confused. The registration is still the same. November 9620 Delta, which is one of American's A3. I'll give you guys some information real quick on that aircraft, even though there's a chance it could change. I know this is probably very unlikely, but I really would love to fly. What's it called? 984 TW. That would be the plane I really want to fly. But so yeah, it was a former TWA aircraft. It was one of the earlier TWA aircraft, so I was confused with it. So it's MD-83, of course, which was delivered in let's see, when was it? 11/18/1997. Transferred to American on 12/2001. Or yeah, February sounds right. 22 years old here at the retirement for the plane. So yeah. Once again, we'd rather fly the other aircraft, but I'm not going to sit here and complain. MD-80 is an MD-80, and we're going to finish it off right. And regardless, the last MD-80 I fly will probably be my favorite MD-80 ever. So yeah, that's tomorrow. Please keep up with me on Instagram to know what all's going on with flights and everything. Yeah, trip report I have scheduled to come out September 13th, just a week from Friday, so I'm going to try to get out very quickly. And then moving forward, trip report on the 27th, and I have not made October's schedule, but likely the 4th and the 18th, and then 2 more trip reports in November on the 1st and the 15th. So be ready to expect those. As of right now, once again, I'm going to keep trying to pump out content. It's definitely not easy with school, so please bear with me. I'm going to do my absolute. I want to work my absolute hardest to get videos out on time and as quickly as possible and as efficiently and the best produced quality and everything like that. It's definitely been a struggle, but I will give you guys the MD-80 last flight list real quick. So if I take a look here to a MD-80 final flights. I know most of them, but I'm going to. There'll also be a massive DFW update on Friday with the Super 80 send-off, which is pretty sad. I can't believe I'm already doing that. But so here we go. The final flights. Also, read you guys some good articles I found if you guys are curious. So here are the final flights. So September 3rd has a total of 5 flights, including mine. Which I wish mine would have been on Wednesday, but I'm still just glad I get to fly on it regardless. So flight 1449 from Grand Rapids, I'm pretty sure, GGR to Dallas Fort Worth. That'll leave there at 1425 and get to Dallas at 1606, which is the earliest flight by far. Pretty crazy. San Antonio to Dallas Fort Worth leaves at 1955 and gets to Dallas at 2110. Flight 2372, flight 2257 from New Orleans to DFW leaves New Orleans at 1943 and gets to Dallas at 2122. I believe 984 is flying that as of right now. That could change though. 1010 from Dallas to this is from Dallas. One of the 2 flights from Dallas, or 1 of the 3 total. This St. Louis flight Tulsa and Chicago are the only flights out of Dallas that are technically flights, last revenue flights. Dallas to St. Louis leaves at 20:34 and gets to St. Louis at 22:18. My flight 267 from Dallas Fort Worth to Tulsa leaves at 22:26 and gets to Tulsa at 23:29. A very late flight. I wish they would have put us on the second to last arrival, which gets to Tulsa like 9:30. That would have been a little better, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. So now into September 4th, these are the actual final flights. Let me count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 flights. So the total of 22, and I believe there's 25 aircraft left. Pretty sure it's 25. But 17 flights are on September 4th. So here's the lineup of final flights. Flight 2452 from Wichita to Dallas leaves Wichita at 5 o'clock, gets to Dallas at 6:15. Flight 2180 from Alamo, Texas to Dallas leaves Dallas at 5 o'clock, leaves Alamo at 5 o'clock and gets to Dallas at 6:18. Flight 2232 from Lubbock, Texas to Dallas leaves Lubbock at 5 o'clock and gets to Dallas at 6:27. Quite a few 5 o'clock flights. I didn't realize all these early flights were here. Flight 2506 from Pensacola, Florida to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Pensacola at 5 o'clock and gets to Dallas at 6:56. Flight 2200 from Cleveland, Ohio to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Cleveland at 5:40, gets to Dallas at 7:32. Flight 2891 from Destin Fort Walton Beach to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Destin at 5:45 and gets to Dallas at 7:54. Sorry. Flight 2338 from Milwaukee. That's Milwaukee or Midland. I'm pretty sure it's Milwaukee. Well, let me look at the duration. Hour and a half. That sounds right. From Milwaukee to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Milwaukee at 6:15, gets to Dallas at 7:55. If that's Midland, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty confident that's Milwaukee. This flight, I might try to... Well, the problem is the Omaha flights fly back over Oklahoma City, but they always fly over my house going to. So today, I'm going to see if I have a chance to catch any MD-80s flying over one final time. I'm going to be very attentive on the radar, but the problem is I probably will have practice. Maybe the evening flight. I have to keep my eyes out for that because today's a perfect day. Wichita flight's just flying back over Oklahoma City right now. That's 16G. Okay. Anyways, flight 2440. The reason I mentioned Omaha. From Omaha to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Omaha at 6 a.m. and gets to Dallas at 7:58. Flight 2605 from Raleigh-Durham to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Raleigh at 6 o'clock and gets to Dallas at 7:58. So two similar ETAs. Flight 2326 from Des Moines to Dallas leaves Des Moines at 6 a.m. and gets to Dallas at 8 a.m. And then guess what? San Antonio is the only destination to have, or actually, Destin Fort Walton Beach has 2 final flights. And Wichita. I didn't realize there was a couple of duplicates on the list. And St. Louis. So where's Tulsa, huh? Anyways, flight, let's see, we are at San Antonio, 2185 from St. Louis, or San Antonio to Dallas, leaves St. Louis at 7, gets to Dallas at 8:14. Flight 2500 from Cincinnati to Dallas, leaves Cincinnati at 6:29, gets to Dallas at 8:02. Flight 1999 from St. Louis to Dallas Fort Worth leaves St. Louis at 7:30, gets to Dallas at 9:24. Flight 1538, the fourth to last flight from Destin Fort Walton Beach to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Destin at 7:19, gets to Dallas at 9:34. Flight 1038 from Wichita, Kansas to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Wichita at 0810 and gets to Dallas at 9:37. Second to last flight. Know a couple people that are on this flight and quite a few others on the others too. From Albuquerque, New Mexico to Dallas Fort Worth leaves Albuquerque flight 2335 at 6:15, gets to Dallas at 9:38. And then finally, American Airlines flight 80 on September 4th, 2019 from Dallas Fort Worth, Texas at 9 a.m. to Chicago O'Hare International Airport will be landing at 11:35 a.m., which will be the final passenger service American Airlines McDonnell Douglas MD-80 flight ever. Pretty sad. I'll read you guys a couple articles off. I'll begin with the American Airlines Super 80 send-off article, which was a really good article. This was released about a month ago. However, it's still worth mentioning now. Also, the final flight is supposed to be operated on November 501 AA, which is just right. I said that on Instagram. I'm not going to elaborate on that more, but that was needed to be expected. So I'm going to read the whole thing here. So this is on August 5th, 2019. A super send-off from the Mad Dog. Each month in the American Way, we feature an article written from the perspective of an American Airlines team member, a unique way of connecting the airline's customers with the passengers who care for them on life's journey. For the August issue, we decided to try something different, turning the keyboard to one of our aircraft. It turns out it's hard to type with landing gear, but our beloved MD-80 found a way. Check out the Mad Dog's farewell letter to customers and the team members below. You may not know me that well, but if you've flown American Airlines a lot, chances are we've met. My name is the Mad Dog. Okay, it's more of a nickname really, short for McDonnell Douglas MD-80. My parents like to say I was the Super 80. I couldn't agree more. You're probably wondering why an airplane is writing a magazine article. Well, for starters, we have a lot of downtime at night. But the main reason is I'm calling it a career. On September 4th, I'll retire to Roswell, New Mexico, making my way for some youngsters from Airbus and Boeing. My remaining siblings, about 24 MD-80s in all, will also be shined up to polished aluminum that day for one final flight into the sunset. And I have no idea if that includes my flight or the other flights on September 3rd or not. We'll have to see. Leaving the rest of the fleet behind with its fancy satellite Wi-Fi, bigger overhead bins, and in-seat power, it's bittersweet. The end of a journey that began in 1983 throughout the decade will help launch American's hub and spoke system as airline's workhorse. More than 300 of us filled the skies for American when we merged with TWA in 2001. And through the most flown domestic, we mostly flew domestically. We connect our biggest cities in the country, making meetings and memories for millions of customers. In doing so, our presence known, many of you love the signature growl of our engines. Others of you like the peaceful calm up front. None more than our pilots, to all of them pointing us to the in the right direction. To the flight attendants who walked our aisles, caring for customers, to the mechanics who kept these old dogs feeling like young pups, and to the thousands of other team members who welcomed us to the gate, loading bags and cargo, or simply came along for a ride. Thanks for the memories, from the bottom of our hydraulic hearts. Of course, without customers, we were never born. You're the reason we kept flying, and that's why we parked for the final time with our tails held high. So on the behalf of American's 130,000 team members, our entire fleet, and particularly our fellow retirees, I tip my wing. Thank you for flying with us for the last 36 years. In the words of favorite 80s tune, I've held my time of the life, and I owe it all to you. Mad Dog, McDonnell Douglas MD-80. A very good article. Whoever wrote it did a fantastic job. Words were really put in well. There was really, I wouldn't have changed that much. So fantastic job to whoever made that. You did fantastic. So now I have another article for you guys that I found in a Facebook group called DFW Spotters. I highly recommend, if you're into DFW spotting in general or anything like that, to check out this the group. But anyways, what I was trying to say was there was somebody shared a what looks like a or twice a month article about aviation news in general. It's around 10 pages or so in a PDF form, and it seems really legitimate and pretty knowledgeable. So I'm going to start reading that. Hopefully I get entered in the subscribed list. However, I'm going to find the they had an MD-80 article, which was called "A Workhorse Retires." Now, this isn't from the perspective of Mad Dog. This is from just a narrator's third-person perspective. But anyways, here we go. On September 4th, American Airlines will operate the last revenue of its venerable Super 80 fleet, drawing close to unparalleled 36 history with the career. The backbone of American Airlines fleet for 30 years, the remaining 24 or so Super 80s will be flown to Roswell, New Mexico for storage. A handful or so may find a second career with other carriers, but most will eventually be scrapped. So with that being said, let's take a look back at the Super 80 and its singular place in American Airlines history. American Airlines was the first major U.S. airline to order the Super 80 when it leased its 20 airframes in October 1982. The new Super 80s were to replace the older Boeing 727-100s, which required a 3-person cockpit crew. On May 15, 1983, saw the first Super 80 revenue flight for American. Of course, the Super 80 was not really a new aircraft, but a longer version of its venerable DC-9. As such, the MD-82s and MD-83s that American flew were officially registered as DC-982s and DC-983s. The Super 80 marker was in effect for the marketing team and used to promote a newer version of an existing airframe. The aircraft was widely known in the aviation community as the Mad Dog, a play on the MD initials of the manufacturer, McDonnell Douglas. Finding the aircraft to its liking, American soon placed an order for 67 further aircraft with options for 100 more, which were later exercised, I'm pretty sure is what that says, in March of 1984. At the time, this was the largest airplane order in commercial aviation history. By now, the carrier's love affair with the Super 80 was off and running, with the type becoming omnipresent at American. In fact, by 2002, American operated 362 Super 80s, which was nearly one-third of all 1,191 ever produced. At one point, half the American Airlines pilots were certified on the type. In time, American ordered 260 Super 80s, which was the last frame delivered in September 1992. After a takeover of Transworld Airlines TWA, which concluded in April 2001, American took their fleet to just over 100 Super 80s, which brought their total accomplishment to 362. The American Airlines Super 80 suffered its only hull loss November 215 Alpha. I kind of know this flight. It was a Little Rock crash. There's an aircraft investigation on it, but it was pretty sad. Pretty much an MD-80 overran the runway in some stormy, bad visual conditions, pretty much. But on June 1st, 1999, when a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Little Rock overran the runway upon landing during a heavy thunderstorm, the captain and 10 passengers were killed during the accident, which was the only fatality by an MD-80 for American Airlines. Over the years, the fleet has gradually been drawn down as American takes newer and more fuel-efficient aircraft. Much more as the Super 80 itself was brought on those years to replace the Boeing 727. August 23, 2016, saw the retirement of 20 Super 80s alone, which was one of the largest mass one-day retirements in commercial aviation history. Despite remaining in the fleet for another 6.5 years after American introduced their post-bankruptcy livery in January 2013, no Super 80s were ever permanently painted in new livery. Interestingly, American operated the final Super 80 ever built November 984 TW, which was delivered on December 28, 1999, and it's newer than 25 of the Boeing 737-800s that American operates. Indeed, the American Airlines 737-800 is now coinciding with American as the Super 80 was, with 304 in operation, not including the 24 grounded 737 MAX aircraft. If you've taken a domestic flight with American in the past few decades, the odds are heavy that you've flown a Super 80. Quiet up front, a little loud in the back, near the engines, but always memorable. So that is the Super 80 article that I found. I thought it was pretty good. Once again, pretty similar to some of the previous articles, but that doesn't change the fact that it's very good. So, with that all being said, Let's see. That's pretty much what I got here. I'll be documenting a lot of the trip on the Instagram, on the stories tab. So make sure to be following me there at Red River Aviation. You're definitely not going to want to miss that. I don't think I got much more. Trying to think if I got anything. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Like the video if you enjoyed it. There's a lot more coming. I'll let you guys know. And I think that's it. Sorry for the long video, and just thought that I would give some MD-80 history in this video. And yeah, once again, hopefully the uploads will be good. We'll see. You guys are getting double upload today, so yay to that. Besides that, I'll let you guys know what all we got coming up. And yeah, probably no more reasons to ramble on. The MD-80 tribute video, I have no clue when it's going to be out. I'm just going to say it's going to be. I still got a lot of work to do on it. I'm still trying to get through pictures, and it's not going to be easy. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Red River Aviation signing off.